Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So this video is being made in response to a 15-year-old gentleman who was murdered in Oakland, from what I gather, East Oakland, and his name was Durbin Alvarado. His name is a play on words for your, D, and by. Lay, av, ra, do, ra meaning evil in Hebrew. That's the main thing that the wordplay refers to, and not Ra as the Egyptian sun symbolizing God. Though there's other ways to interpret it from there, the main interpretation of the wordplay is that they want the King of Kings, which is me, to be something I will never be, which is bisexual. And the lay refers to, having sex, what have you. Also could possibly refer to having children, but I don't think that they want me to have children. I don't plan to have children no matter what, And they talk about the lay av, right? And the raw do, and it's also raw odd, which goes back to, the odd fellows, the fraternity. Think about fraternities in general, they tend to be odd on a spectrum. Well, there's tons of wordplay out there. Sometimes the wordplay is very, very straightforward, right? Gavin Newsom, gay, Vine, Newsome, right? London breed. Pretty straightforward. And sometimes it's more subtle like that. If you take the time to look for that, and I've gotten in the habit of looking for the wordplay, and the government workers have pointed it out to me that these are the messages. Now, before people start crying about, hey, do what they say, realize well before I was born in like the 1920s, like 100 years ago, there was like 100,000 members of the Klan that marched on Washington, D.C. There was also 5 to 6 million members of the Klan at the time, and they're considered the second Klan. Okay, so there's 3 clans in history, as the story goes. One is the first Klan, second is the second Klan, was the biggest Klan of all, the third is the third Klan. And last I checked, they said they have about 10,000 members right now, but they have a lot more than that. Now, the Klan they aren't the main people doing this, but certainly the family members of the second Klan are very much involved in this, but they're not necessarily the main people doing this. The main people doing this are the governing class. They're giving the orders, they're insisting on their ways. When you see people crying about, preserving the values and the ways of things, they're concerned with the social order and who has the most to benefit, most to gain from that, in their minds at least. It is the governing class, and they're called the kleptocratic class. This is also interesting. When you hear them referred to that way, you don't see people saying, hey, we're not all like that, and da-da-da. But whenever I put people in groups, all of a sudden everyone has a problem. When Nazi Germany was punished together, after World War II, with sanctions, what have you, nobody had a problem with them putting them in a group. When they talk about the Nazis as a group, they don't have a problem. They talk about the Klan as a group. When black people talk about themselves as a group, when any race talks about themselves as a group, they don't have a problem. But when I bring up that the governing class is the kleptocratic class, and they're the main peoples behind it, all of a sudden they have a problem because they're trying to blame their rivals in the governing class and pretend that they're magically the exception. Strange how that works, isn't it? So this young gentleman seemed like a very nice gentleman. I would have loved to have met him and have talked to him about God and have brought him to God, and the people who killed him, I would have loved to bring them to God before they did such an unfortunate act. People are massacred all over the world. The same day he died, every day, we see that 10,000 people starved to death, 10,000 children, starved to death and died of hunger-related issues. Okay, every 7 to 8 minutes or so, a woman is raped in America. Okay, 25,000 people, which include those 10,000 children, starve to death and die of hunger-related issues every day. There's all kinds of problems in the world. This case does stick out to me. It was aimed at me. People with technology hacked the brains of the shooters. They set the stage for that to go down the way it did. Maybe they gave them their target directly, but they probably just manipulated it behind the scenes with supercomputers. I know a lot of you are in denial You suffer from fragility. You don't want to admit the possibility, the distinct possibility for the newcomer. The average person who's sane, who's looking at this thing at first glance, must admit there's a distinct possibility that the fumes and the technologies we have and the patents give away, that the underlying cause for the shift in behavior that we've seen in recent years, in the last 10, 15, 20 years, is due to technological interference, to brain hacking. Look up brain hacking. Look up DARPA. There's lots and lots of companies that are working on hacking your brain remotely and refining their ability to. And I tell you, even before 9/11, the government could hack your brain to some degree. The evidence screams that even in the 80s, the government had the ability to hack people's brains remotely to some degree. This is decades later. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I go on the evidence and the facts, the empirical evidence. When you see a footprint, it's consistent with an animal running across. You don't say, hey, that's conspiracy theory. You think that's a squirrel footprint or something. No, that is what that evidence suggests. Can I definitively prove it's not some alien with some kind of machine that made that footprint on the ground? No. But the most logical assumption is that's a motherfucking a squirrel's footprint. You see what I'm saying? I tell you, with the evidence I have in my videos alone, it's an overwhelming amount of evidence. And there's tons of other evidence out there. Evidence that I didn't have the time to, put up there, or I didn't remember, what have you. They are hacking people's brains and they are fucking killing them. How am I supposed to feel about it? They're stigmatizing poor people, Hispanic people, Muslims, black people, poor gay people, poor white people, islanders, you name it. They say the more you're like the people they hate the most among the poor, the more they don't like you. Till they killed that gentleman, that young man, over some petty ass fucking shit. And they want to blame the streets. After they created the streets, they social engineered the streets. They determined who socializes with who, social clubs, and who fraternizes with who, fraternities. They determined what opportunities were there. What kind of food, what kind of cultures. Why wouldn't they let me create a culture there that's more appealing than gang cultures? Because they want to hack people's brain and kill them. You see the little cute little crest they have? And they admit that it symbolizes controlling life and death and stuff like this? Things are a lot more controlled than people want to admit. There's a reason why Keanu Reeves or whoever said that the Matrix is real. Not do I think that you're literally hooked to a machine like that to that degree? No. But are people's brains being remotely hacked with various substances and materials and technologies of brain control, mind control? I know for sure that's the case. They killed that young man over some petty fucking shit. Because just like they described in the Hercules TV series, they said the Greek gods are petty and cruel. So if you're channeling or you're trying to come into the spirit of quote-unquote gods that are petty and cruel, is it insane to assume that you're on some petty-ass bitch fucking shit? They killed that person over some petty fucking shit. And they want to pretend that I'm fucking crazy for telling you how it goes down. And the wordplay.